Hello, everyone, and welcome in to the three-digit World Cup quarterfinals. This is the losers bracket matchup between Countryless West and Australia here. A couple of teams who I think people would usually have pretty high expectations for, especially given the qualifier result from Countryless West, but which find themselves in the losers bracket after a slew of upsets in the round of 16. My name is Dion. I'm going to be taking you through this match alongside Mr. Fiery Sean Rage. How's it going?
Hello, I love gaming, and we are going to witness some gaming. Yep, this is a loser bracket matchup between Countryless West and Australia. As mentioned before, early stage upsets are always a killer of most teams, I would say, in tournaments like this.
I mean, quite literally half the teams. Quite literally half the teams last weekend. So
yeah, crazy how that works out, and crazy how JTB rolls a 3. That's kind of nuts. Good work.
He's popping off already.
Okay. Well, Countryless West wins the roll, I'm assuming, because I don't think they rolled a 2 or a 1.
I don't think so. I'm gonna have to check on that, but I'm pretty sure he rolled 94. Actually, is what Ramon 2 has rolled for Countryless West. So yeah, no, he did not roll a 2 or a 1. That much is sure. So yeah, first ban to Australia, first pick to Countryless West after the early rolls. I'm thinking this is an interesting matchup between these two teams. You have an Australia roster who I think is looking to prove something for some of the more untested members. In particular, you're looking at, I think, Straub as the member of this team who really is kind of an unknown factor for the team, but who had a pretty okay qualifier result, all things considered. Number 70 out of everybody in qualifiers, and had a particularly good performance on the no mod pool overall. Australia in general performing pretty well on the qualifiers pool. Number 6 out of qualifiers versus number 3 in Countryless West out of qualifiers. So both of them, again, I think underperforming in the first round, and so we should have ourselves a pretty close matchup between these two.
First ban from Australia going to be Hard Rock 2. And I imagine Countryless West might follow up with a DT2 ban here, or something similar. Just basing it off the previous matchups, Countryless West kinda, sorta having third player syndrome on a lot of the speed maps. Australia just, in general, a lot more well-rounded in that regard, with the occasional shit miss here and there. So they're probably just going to opt, now that the pools are a bit harder, just going to opt to not have to worry about that. I could be entirely wrong.
I think Countryless West has a pretty... I think they have a pretty good speed roster. I believe they were actually missing a player in their last match. They had some people almost not show up for it. And
that was a disaster then.
Yeah, they did not have... There was a couple of circumstances that made it not very good for Countryless West out of the gate last time around. I think Donnet probably no warm-up. You don't expect a player like Donnet to get 95 AC and 500 combo, 300k on last week's No Mod 5. Like, that just does not happen under normal circumstances.
Okay, well, I can get behind this ban.
From the team with the number 1 score on DT2 out of qualifiers, right? You don't expect that.
Yeah. So, I was entirely wrong. I can get behind these bans, though. Generic bans make sense against Australia. Don't play AIM against JTB. That is a very valid mindset to go in with.
Yeah. A lot of people forget also, Jordan LR7 used to be mini JTB, right? That guy used to be somebody that really had almost the exact same skill set until he started branching out into the double time mechanics, which is, I think, his primary mechanical skill set right now. Hard Rock 1 banned out by Australia, though, not wanting to face off on those mechanics against Countryless West. A double Hard Rock ban for Australia is something that's really funny to see, too. Especially with, like, Vivace, JTB, and Inumi on this team. I really think that Hard Rock ban is really interesting to look at overall. Like, that is a team who I would usually pick as very good on Hard Rock in general.
And maybe they just are not feeling confident on the Hard Rock. 2 Hard Rock bands, and the only Hard Rock now left being the Precision pick, CS 6.5. See what Countryless West decide to follow up with. They're just going to ban out more aim. We'll see DT1 maybe get banned out, even though it's a bit more of a bursty aim map than anything else. And it's going to be DT1 as the last ban. So no Mod 1, Hard Rock 1, DT1, all the aim maps, except for Hidden 1, pretty much banned out of the gate. We're only going to have 1 Hard Rock to play with here. We'll see what Countryless West opens up with. Hidden Pool is still untouched. They might opt to maybe try and see in general how Hidden feels, unless they want to go for, as you mentioned, they were the top score on DT2 on the qualifiers, so they might want to go for DT2, even though it's relatively a toss-up.
Yeah, I mean, even with that, if they're not warmed up, for example, I know Thunder was hopping on no warm-up to the match in France versus China earlier, which is why they did not pick No Mod 5 until very late into the match. So there may be things like that you never know exactly what goes on behind the scenes, right? A lot more scuffed matches than you might realize from a spectator's point of view. Double Time 4 going to be the first pick here, though, for Countryless West. Definitely a map where I think you want prowess on the Double Time mod overall. That's kind of what this pick forces out of a lot of players.
Yeah, slightly above standard AR, 10.15, I believe, on this. Rounds around to that.
This map also 150 BPM after DT. That kind of lies a little bit. Yes, part of it is alt for sure. But it is Neil Perry alt plus 300 BPM bursts. That's a relatively high approach rate. Also, AR 10.1, like you mentioned. So this is a pick that has kind of a lot of stuff going on in it, which is why I kind of say it's your quote-unquote DT prowess pick, right? If you are the best team on Double Time, this is a pick that is probably going to be pretty good for you, and one that I think is generally going to give you a pretty okay time with a lot of the, really unconventional aim control that's found in the pick, with a lot of the transitions between bursts and alt in this pick, things like that are going to be really good for a lot of your real DT players. Definitely why you see Jordan and Demi come in for this map on the side of Australia. 2 players who are absolutely just DT mains at this point, pretty well known for it as well.
We're seeing unexpected Hammy TR and Danit on the side of Countryless West. Actually, unexpected, never mind, I might be lying. Like Riot's going to be swapping in for Unexpected. That should be the finalized rosters. GLHF's in chat. Getting underway with the first map, DT4, for Countryless West versus Australia.
Definitely set to be an interesting one if we are allowed to view it. That's
Jordan,
one thing.
Jordan refuses to load in. We'll get him loading in there. There we go. Don't imagine anyone's going to miss on this beginning. It'd be really tragic if that did happen, but Yeah, no one did. Good work. Now we get into the more missable parts.
This part where you get your high approach rate ult and where you start to get into the bursts now in this section is definitely where you're going to find a lot more breaks than anywhere else in the map. This whole section can be really tricky. We see a lot of teams find tons of misses in this part. First one is going to come out from Donut as a slider break on the side of Countryless West. The only player to have dropped combo so far is Australia, showing why they are a force to be reckoned with on this double time, man. Straub as well, holding his own on this map. The worst act on Australia, but fourth best act in the lobby at the moment. Still doing better than both Riot and Donut in that regard, and certainly helping keep this about 150,000 score lead on Australia's side right now.
We'll need to see okay, if that works, I guess. Doomy missing on the stack. That's not where you want to miss. Now suddenly things are coming really competitive.
And that is big combo lead for Donut right now on the side of Countryless West. He and Dummy both trade sliders at the exact same time on this map. Straub also finding the slider break there is crucial, though, for Countryless West, going right into the ending of the map now. And even if there's a break from Riot or Ramon 2, there's already a 100,000 score lead in Countryless West's favor. And they are going to be able to take that first pick by about 130, 140,000 score at the end of it. Jordan LR7 with the only full combo for Australia up against the two-way FC from Countryless West.
Solid first pick for them. Will be Australia to follow up with their next pick, though.
So definitely, I think, a bit of a closer map than Countryless West might have liked on that kind of pick. You do still have to worry about Australia being good on double time. And yeah, they're actually just going to go with DT3 as a first pick for Australia after that. And honestly, I can't really blame them after that last map, going for double time 3 as the first pick here for Australia's side. Endless story, 280 BPM in this map. Far more burst than last weekend, but I think still a map that kind of mixes your old map flow style aim with bursts rather than being primarily focused on those bursts, which is pretty well in line with what you see in DT4 as well. Of course, much higher density on this pick.
Yeah, a lot of the traditional old map tropes very much present in this one. This one ranked in 2011. Yeah, you'll know when you see one of these sorts of maps. A pretty distinctive style from around that time, I feel like.
What would you say is the biggest thing from around that era that kind of gives away when that map was made? Because for me, a lot of it is the fact that all of the aim in the map really comes most of the time from flow aim, even if it's on like 190 BPM or so, where nowadays, or even 2013 or later, you would start to see a lot of at least pattern aim and polygonal aim, or kind of snap aim jumps built up in 2014 and after. But these types of maps tend to just have everything built into flow aim instead.
Yeah, I would also argue symmetry is is used in a lot of these types of maps. A lot of the jump patterns that you could argue in a lot of these maps are mostly just symmetrical. But you pretty much nailed it. It's mostly flow aim in terms of just like... You can see that there's a certain distance between each of the notes that appear, and then new patterns have spacing in between them as appropriate. That's usually how a majority of these maps happen. Granted, I have not seen this map yet.
That definitely pretty well describes what's going on in this map. A lot of flow aim, a lot of symmetry, a lot of distance snapping within patterns in particular. And Mixed into all that, you have, of course, the double time mod forcing you to hit 280.5 BPM bursts on the regular with relatively high density, and this is exactly what you're going to be seeing throughout the entire rest of the map is what you see here in this intro. So you can already see some adjustment issues coming out from Ramon 2 and Donit. Hammy in particular down at 93% accuracy right now, joining Vivace at that mark actually. So both players having both teams, excuse me, having one player struggle with the ACK early on, and an early slider break from Jordan LR7 and Dummy. Also, what
were those misses from Doomy and Jordan? Those were, I'm not really sure what they missed on there, but I guess combo advantage now in favor of Countryless West. Despite the accuracy advantage from Australia, 99% from both Doomy and Jordan, it's just not gonna mean anything because they don't have the combo. It's also countered by Riot and Danet's own 99%. Yeah, like, these are some really unlucky breaks that Team Australia is getting right now.
Yeah, this start to the match is just not going the way they would have hoped for Australia. It seems like Countryless West is just having maybe a little bit better preparation or a slightly more practice on these maps, or just finding less pen slips or something. I don't know, man. They're just having a slightly better time of basically both of these maps so far. And not dropping all these random misses. You do still have Vivace holding the full combo. He's recovered the ACK a lot as well, up at 97%, but unfortunately, that super high combo from Donit is making any sign of a comeback pretty slim from Australia's side.
Riot also with a 99.8% almost FC. We enter the last stage of the map here. This point is pretty much all but said and done for Countryless West. Break point on Australia's first pick.
And this is why I said not to underestimate this Countryless West roster on speed. Despite a couple breaks from Donit and Ramon 2, still almost 3 million team score off the back of Riot's 2 100 full combo. 0 100s, however, for Jordan LR7. 2 slider breaks and a miss for him. 2 100s and 1 miss for Dummy. And that kind of shows exactly how close these two teams are on speed, really. You have a 200 full combo from Riot. You have a 7 100 and 2 slider break play from Donit as well on Countryless West. And then you've got, two people who kind of struggled a little bit more with the accuracy on Ramon 2 and Vivace. But man, if those breaks don't happen for Australia, if you don't see that one miss from Dummy come out, this map is suddenly so much closer than it was.
Yeah, it just all came down to the fact that 2 of the players on Australia just got probably the most unluckiest misses of all time. I hope they don't have that drag down their mental or anything, because that is definitely not the places you would want to miss on in the map, I'd say. We'll be getting into Countryless West. I tongue-twisted myself somehow. We'll be getting into their second pick. We'll see. DT2 is still up, the last DT remaining. I don't know if they'd particularly want to go for that, but after how DT3 went, maybe they are feeling a bit more confident on just being overall more consistent.
It definitely seems like the consistency is there with Countryless West right now, right? Like, you've seen 2 maps in a row where they've just been slightly more consistent, and that's been the win for them, but they're going to keep it on the speed train for now. 2 DT picks right into No Mod 5 for these two teams, just getting all the tapping picks out of the way right in a row. And you know what, from Countryless West side, if it works, it works. Don't fix what ain't broken. Keep up the speed picks.
Yeah, we are gonna run out of speed picks at this point.
And pretty quick, too. I think there's really just DT2 left. This map, though, very different from the picks that we've seen already. 230 BPM burst finger control and slider aim in this map. A lot of buzz sliders, a lot of doubles, quads type stuff, a lot of consecutive bursts. It's a speed map made by Taquito of a Zek song. So yeah, that sums it up pretty well.
Yeah, you can already see how this map is gonna go for the most part. It's your 5 standard no mod 5. Lots of 5 bursts, lots of triples, lots of stamina requirements in general. What you'd come to expect from this slot. In any case, Doomy and Dennett going to be trading early misses in the map. Right as well, going to be breaking on, I believe that was a repeat slider, one of the kick sliders. So combo advantage now in favor of Australia, getting into the first third of the map.
That is a really rough place to slide a break from Vivace during the slow section there. And Jordan LR7 breaking right afterwards for Australia is just dummy now to stand alone against Ramon 2's full combo. But with Riot and Donnet holding on to big supporting combo for Countryless West, even with that break from Ramon 2, you're still not sure whether or not this comes back over to Australia. It's a lot closer now, but there's still the score lead for Countryless West. And as of right now, it's looking like even game state. This score is not budging a bit towards either team.
As we get into the later stages of the map, this will definitely favor Countryless West a bit more, assuming no other tragic breaks happen in the last few seconds of the map here. But as it stands right now, Countryless West looking to once again clinch their pick barely. Oh, okay, that didn't matter as much, but Riot slider breaking at the end there.
Yeah.
That was a bit earlier. That would have been very dicey. But it's going to be a 70k win on Nomad 5 for Countryless West. And I think both teams underperforming on that in comparison to what they expected.
Well, both teams a little bit sad about that map, I believe. Especially so for Australia, unfortunately. Jordan and Vivace just having very poorly timed misses right in the middle of the map for both of them. Literally a single miss for Vivace right smack dab in the middle of the map. And yeah, that kind of kills any chance of getting above 600k. So little unfortunate. A little unfortunate for Australia once again on this pick. It is 3-0 for Countryless West right now. Next pick to Australia. Will we just see them pick double time 2 and just go for all of the speed maps right in a row? It's totally possible. But I don't know if Australia really wants that right now because, frankly speaking, the speed thing ain't working out for them at the moment.
Yeah, I'd like to see them opt into some other stuff. Hidden hasn't been touched. You go for a no-mod alt map if you wanted to do that. DT4 was relatively close, and that's a bit of an alt-oriented pick. You could maybe decide to go for no-mod 3, but nope, it is Hidden 2. They're going to be going with the Hidden pool.
And this is actually the Hidden alt pick. Mechanical Jaeger by Iska. Mapped by Livia, I believe. Yes, mapped by Livia. 150 BPM alt tech hybrid sort of map. Basically, any kind of flow aim streams you want, you can find them in this map. Axel decel streams, wiggle streams, cut streams, cut double streams, you name it. I mean, there's basically any type of flow aim you want in this map, you have it here. Add that with Hidden alongside some difficulty from following and reading sliders properly, and you have a relatively tricky map here in Hidden 2. The patterns that are there do play very well. Like, they're not really especially awkward patterns to play, but the patterns themselves are just that difficult that it does make it a really tricky map regardless. A little interested to see how this goes for Australia here. Both of these teams having relatively similar results on Hidden 1 in the qualifiers, which is, I think, the most comparable map so far. Hidden 2 last weekend also can be looked at in regards to this sort of map, but based on the qualifier results, you're looking at relatively similar scores for both of these teams.
We'll see how it plays out. It's mostly just down to, compared from the 3 maps we've seen so far, it's mostly just down to Australia not missing in the middle of the map, for one.
Could help.
I don't want that to be happening.
One thing to note, we've seen basically the same 3-player roster for every map for Australia so far. Jordan, LR7, Demi, and Straub. We finally get a couple subs out for Countryless West. Wolfie and Rebo joining Ramon 2 for this map, as we do see a miss from Rebo, but also from Jordan and Straub here in the first third of the map. Jordan finding a second break. Ugh.
Ramon as well trading, though. So 1 FC to 1 now. Mostly those supporting combo. Oh, there goes Wolfie. There goes the FC. And okay, never mind. There goes the FC on Australia. No FCs.
Yeah,
and the combo advantage is now in favor of Countryless West.
I was just going to say, you have big combo on both Rebo and Ramon too, even with the miss from Wolfie matching the miss from Demi there. It just looked a little bit doomed here for Australia. Down 150,000 score with about 500 collective combo advantage on Countryless West right now is not the place you want to find yourself. Already down 3-0 in this match. There needs to be some breaks here from Countryless West in the second half of this map. But Rebo and Ramon 2 just look so comfortable on this pick. 99.6 for Rebo, almost 99% for Ramon 2. There is the drop from Rebo. Wolfie also dropping at the same time. So all that combo lead now is back on the side of Australia, but is there even enough map left to stage a comeback? I don't think there is. Score lead's just too big, and it is going to stay on the side of Countryless West for a 4-0 start to this match against Australia.
Yeah, Doomy with just that one unfortunate slider break. Again, it's just down to these midway through the map breaks on some of Australia's players that are just costing them these maps.
As
they break not even like 30 seconds later. This could be a 2-2 scoreline, for example.
Yeah, this could have easily swung the other way on basically any map, actually. All throughout this match, every single map has been really close and just decided by the timing of misses or by whether or not a player drops a single slider break or not, right? So it's a 4-0 scoreline, but it is still relatively close between these two teams. You're still seeing relatively close maps between the both of them at pretty much every turn. It's just not been going the way that Australia would have liked in this match, and it has to be taking some kind of toll on the mental at this point. You're down 4-0. You've dropped 2 picks already that were that close. If you just don't shit miss in the wrong parts of the map, you would have had those points. So being able to recognize that, hey, we're still actually playing pretty well. We just need to make sure we find the right picks once again, and we can still come back in this match. To be able to rally around that kind of direction for the team and find the next pick that works for you. I think there are a couple of different ones that could work out when it comes back around to Australia, but for now, Countryless West going to be going with Hard Rock 3 as their next pick, the entirely polygonal pattern aim CS 6.5 Hard Rock map.
Yeah, not too surprising to see those picked up. Hard Rock 1 and Hard Rock 2 being banned by Australia kind of makes Hard Rock 3 the no-brainer pick. If the enemy team bans 2 of the same mods, chances are they're not feeling too confident on their mod capabilities on that mod. So, might as well just go for the one that they left open. Over one of these shorter maps in the pool at sub 1 minute, or not 1 minute, sub 2 minute. 1 minute 40 seconds, I believe, on the drain time on this. So
Nick out here pulling the 40-second CS 6.5 picks.
Hey man, I'd be down.
Yeah?
Let's pull some 40-second CS9 maps. I'm down.
Yeah, hey, look, I've pulled 58-second CS9 maps before.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Space.
You need to make it the new meta.
Yeah, exactly.
New tournament meta. Come on, get on it.
I'm down for it. I love me some CS9 no mod. Let's go. Anyway, yeah, you were saying about this pick, about 2 minutes long, relatively short. Double ban on Hard Rock from Australia, I think, goes pretty well for Countryless West. You either don't have Hard Rock players who are ready to go on this roster, or they're just not comfortable with these maps because, again, really surprising to not see Anumi in on this map over somebody like GLR7. Vivace and JTB, I think you expect in on this one, but yeah, very interesting to not see Anumi so far for any of these maps.
Yeah, I just assume that he's probably not present for this match. That'd be the assumption that I would make at the very least, but still a solid roster nonetheless. LR7 might not be as comfortable at Hard Rock as Anumi. He's still very much well-versed in the mod and capable of putting out some scores on it. Also, people are abusing Gamma on hard... This is AR-10, guys.
Look, man, whatever, you take what you can get, okay? You take what you can get out here. It's a tough world for tournament players.
I mean, respect, but, like, no. Not really. I will flame people that do Gamma on Hard Rock.
AR-10 is fast, okay, man? It's hard.
I don't know how people read Hidden with no Gamma and then could just not read Hard Rock with Gamma. Or without Gamma.
You
like
just aim where the circle was half a second ago, and you're good. That's how you play Hidden.
Okay,
Simple.
Thanks. I'll keep that in mind from now on. Anyway,
You're
getting
welcome.
into the map.
Yeah, unexpected Riot and Ramon 2 in for this one. You're probably going to see a lot of Ramon 2, also known as Hammy TR, throughout this match. He is both the captain and probably the most well-rounded player on the side of Countryless West, somebody who has won 1v1 tournaments in the past, and so has a lot of experience going in on all types of maps. Unexpected and JTB, meanwhile, trading misses at the exact same time on this pick. Otherwise, pretty similar act for both teams. You see the score line swapping back and forth as players drop hundreds right now, with pretty much identical combo on both sides until Vivace drops that slider break. Again, exactly halfway through the pick. And Jordan's, both of them drop at the same time, also halfway through. This is like every time for Australia.
Yeah, and there goes the score lead, skyrocketing now in favor of Countryless West. Almost 300k, just going to keep on growing with these two FCs on Riot and Ramon 2. Unexpected as well, recovering nicely from his earlier miss, and this is already over. 5-0 now for Countryless West. Australia needs a gateway into this match, and they need it right now.
Well, I think Hammy is taking the key to the gate and tossing it aside at the moment. 8-100 full combo for him on this map, and 5-0 lead for Countryless West at the moment. Even if you do see Vivace and Jordan hold on to the combos in the middle of the map, there's still more misses that came through for the other members on the side of Australia. And so it still would not have been the win for them, regardless of if they had both full comboed or if one of them had full comboed.
Now, this was one of the more decisive maps, but
yeah,
and is to be expected since Australia did double ban Hard Rock. But it is going to be their pick again, and this is where the comeback needs to happen.
Like right now.
We already know that speed is sort of a toss-up, maybe not wanting to go for DT2. Hidden. Maybe Hidden 3. No, probably not.
I don't think they go for hidden 3 on the side.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably not.
The qualifier results say that Countryless West is the number 3 team in the tournament on low approach rate, and Australia is like somewhere in 9th through 16th on that skill set. But you're just looking at the rosters. I mean, you have, for example, on Countryless West, Hammy, Riot, Unexpected can go in on the map and all do pretty well. I think Ribbo and Wolfie would also be very, very good players for that map, and so I just don't see a world where Australia has a competitive roster there.
But they could go for it.
They could go for Hidden 1. I think that would be okay, but I think Hidden 3 is definitely not what you want to see from them right now. Honestly speaking, I think you just go back to comfort at this point and just go for something like Double Time 2 or like Free Mod 2, maybe. I don't know, man. I think you just want something that your players are confident on and that you know you can score well on. They're going to go with No Mod 3. They're going to go with a second alt pick in a row, going from Hidden 2 to No Mod 3. Anemone here. Pretty well-known Spartan alt map here. One of the first few that saw popular tournament play back in, I think it was 2020 this map came out.
Yeah, this was custom mapped for OWC, not OWC, Corsair's 2020. I believe this is group stage. Or not group stage, qualifiers. It was one of the early stage pools. I'm not entirely sure which one, but it was definitely one of the early stage pools. And it was shortly after Corsair's ended. It was ranked in 2021, I believe. So yeah, this is a pretty well-known map in the tournament scene. Used in quite a bit of other tournaments, just outside of Corsair's, ever since it got ranked. It's your by-standard alt map, all patterns. You know the deal with these sorts of maps. Not quite as similar to Hidden 2 as you might think, though. Hidden 2, a lot more flowy. This is a lot more snappy, I'd argue. We'll see if that plays any difference whatsoever. Also, the fact that there's no hidden, that probably also helps a lot. Or it doesn't help a lot, depending on whether or not you can read hidden.
All right, looks like we are ready to go into this one. Going to be Riot, Ramon2, and Donut here to try and close it out for Countryless West. Australia needing to rally the comeback right now. Jordan LR7, Demi, and Straub in for them. They're looking to prove anything for Straub in particular. It's going to have to be right now. Australia, one of those countries who in country-based tournaments really always has a tough time breaking free of the expectations that they are always, you know, a B-tier team, really. We've seen in OWC them time and time again come close to being very good, but never really break the mold. And unfortunately here, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case in 3WC either. If it is, it's going to have to start right now. An early miss from Straub, not going to help the case, but not going to hurt too much either.
Still plenty of map to recover from that miss and have some of the other players on Countryless West traded out. And there it is, their first trade. Danit going to be trading out the earlier miss. Combo advantage now in favor of Australia. And okay, what just happened to Countryless West there? Goodbye, combo. Now Australia is finally looking to be in the driver's seat on one of these picks.
They just completely evaporated for Countryless West. That is remarkable. The exact opposite thing has happened now that has happened in the entire rest of the match, which is that now Countryless West is the team evaporating halfway through the map rather than Australia. We finally see some weird breaks come out from the other team this time around. One other thing to note, both Dummy and Jordan are single tapping this map. Dummy was holding an SS until a moment ago, single tapping, so that's cool. I guess this is actually a single tap map. This is just a high BPM aim control for these players.
Well, when you're as proficient at DT as Doomy and Jordan are, I guess you can just do that. That works too. Further breaks from Countryless West, not going to be really helping things much at all here. This is definitely a very convincing pick from Australia so far. Definitely what they wanted, I would assume, for them to get back into the match here, as you're already down at match point. You have to get the momentum going now more than anything. These scores, they're looking to make a, they're making a showcase of themselves right now.
Finally, a miss comes through for Jordan, but I mean, it's over a million team score lead right now for Australia. This is just ridiculous combos from all of their members. The FC for Dummy, 99.73% accuracy. One miss for Jordan with the 3 100s and 150 apparently also. One miss for Straub as well, 822k, outscoring anyone on the side of Countryless West. That is just ridiculously dominant from Australia on that pick. That is the kind of turnaround that you need when you are down 5-0 match point. Now 5-1, still in the favor of Countryless West, but at least there are some signs of life from Australia right now, and they have definitely put on a show with that Nomad 3 pick, hoping that they can keep up the momentum here in these next few maps.
You know, the question is going to be becoming whether or not Countryless West picks into something that they are a lot more oriented towards, like you were mentioning Hidden 3, how Countryless West kind of just stomps Australia in terms of low AR. They could go for that, or Free Mod 3. They could opt to go for any of those two picks. It's going to be quite a battle for Australia to win those, I think.
Looks like it's going to be something very different now from Countryless West. We're going to be getting the CS 2.7 tech map in free mod. Oriental Blossom Vert Extreme. This is the set ranked by Crystal, which has about 25 difficulties or so. I don't know if that's the exact number, but looks like it when you're scrolling through it in the game, and it takes up your entire screen with difficulties. This is one of the more difficult difficulties of that set. AR 9.6, CS 2.7. Lot of really wonky stream shapes in this map, and a little bit of slider aim to go along with it. I think much more reminiscent of your 2016 to 2018 tech maps, where people were really focusing in on really tricky flow aim stuff rather than on super high velocity sliders and lots of slider velocity changes like you see in more modern tech maps.
You were mentioning, this is just a random fact, but you were mentioning that you guessed 25 difficulties on the set. You're actually kind of close, 22.
Wow, that is way closer than I thought it was. Okay. Huh. That's a lot of difficulty.
Fun knowledge bomb there for you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's much closer than I expected. Yeah, I think this map is an interesting pick for both of these teams. Neither of these teams were particularly good on the tech mapping qualifiers, but again, we already kind of touched on how this map is a lot different from the tech maps that we have in Nomad in most map pools, right? I don't think you really have anything to compare it to at this point between these two teams, as Fremod 1 last weekend was more of a stream map than anything else. Really just focused on overall stream consistency and variable spacing flow aim, lots of what you would call like Doppler streams, accel decel streams, and kind of wiggly stuff as well. So, really interesting map. I think this is going to be the first we see of either of these teams on something particularly like this. Huge overmod for Countryless West, by the way. 3 members hidden hard rock on this pick. Okay. Well then. If they win this map, this is the single biggest flex you will ever see in tournament.
Yeah, Gonna be honest, not really too sure how I feel about it. I can understand 3 hard rocks on this. CS 3.5 with hard rock after all, so if you're comfortable with it, why not? But
like hidden objectively makes this harder, right? Like this is not an easy map with hidden.
We're sort of seeing that.
Yeah, Ramon 2 finding the next slider break. Rebo trading another miss now, unanswered for both of those. The earlier miss from Rebo, at least answered by Vivace on the side of Australia, but Straub and Dummy having a way better time of this map than Rebo and Ramon 2 at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not too sure the overmod was particularly a good idea here. We could see
the double XD from these two. Oh my god, man.
Yeah, well, you know what happens, I guess.
It's too soon to speak right now, but this is looking like another incredibly dominant point for Australia at the moment. Vivace on a very good comeback, still out-comboing either Ramon 2 or Rebo, who has now found his third unanswered miss of the map, or second unanswered miss, excuse me, third miss overall. Straub and Vivace do both break, and that is now combo advantage on Ramon 2. Dummy, the only full combo for Australia, absolutely has to hold here going into the ending, otherwise this 100% goes over. The score lead shrinking very quickly at the moment, even with the FC from Dummy intact, but it looks like it's going to be enough to hold on to it. Still about 160,000 score on the side of Australia. It was looking a lot more one-sided in the middle of the map, but man, Countryless West, somebody tell these kids to stop playing with their food, because that overmod, it does not look pretty on the result screen.
Yeah, obviously, Riot almost with an FC, breaking at the very end there, and Hammy TR with a slider break, so just unlucky misses from them, but I'm not really sure overmodding on Rebo was the play. I feel like that was kind of overconfidence, I guess, at this point. When you're up 5 points, you might as well just go for something like this, right? I don't know. I don't think it was particularly the best course of action here, but it will be Australia getting their first break point. They're going to be now onto their next pick.
Next pick for Australia. This is really the position you want to be in if you were Australia. Well, I mean, not exactly, right? You're still down 5-2, but hey, like, at least you still have your next pick to go for. Of note, Countryless West has 1 pick left in this match, even if Australia wins their next pick. So Countryless West really has to make the next one count. I don't know which team is saving DT2 or if they're just avoiding it for fear of losing a toss-up map at this point. But it is going to be something a little bit different now here for Australia as well. It is going to be No Mod 2 Run or Dash by Psy. Different Psy. Not the Freedom Dive Psy, but the Toho Psy. This one has a capital X. That's the only way you can tell the difference.
Thank
also
God
the type
for
of
the
song.
capital.
Yeah, thank God for capitalization, am I right, guys? Otherwise, it'd be so confusing. No, at least the type of song is different. This one, 180 BPM, relatively low BPM on this map, all focused on high spacing stream flow aim in this map. Very long streams in this one. You can't just be, completely gapped on stamina and still do fine on it. But if you have a BPM cap for your streams and you can still stream, a long time at 180, you should be pretty good on this map, so long as the flow aim is kept in check.
I think, well, we're seeing expected rosters, I'd say, from both these teams. You got Jordan LR7 and Doomy, the mainstays on Australia. Definitely comfortable at this flow aim, stream-oriented pick. And then we also have Vivace coming in. Now, unexpected going to be coming in as well. joining Dana and Riot for the Nomad 2 here.
I mean, these are all players that you would expect to see on a map like this. Donut has, of course, the stamina for this type of stuff. Riot and Unexpected going to be just fine on this type of map. Pretty good all-rounder players have really solid flow aim. Good Nomad 2 players as well. Jordan LR7, Dummy, and Vivace all in for this one once again. I think a pretty good overall roster here for Australia. These have been the 3 players who have been in on almost every pick so far. And they have both been the players who have found unfortunate misses and who have brought Australia back from the brink so far. Still on the precipice of falling off the cliff at the moment and dropping out of the tournament, but this is the start to the map that you want to see from them.
Yeah, accuracy advantage early on is going to be favoring Countryless West slightly here, but it's not all about the accuracy, it's about who drops and who FCs. And once we see those drops start to come in, just like that, Danit gonna be the first one to drop. Slider break for him. Not answered by anyone on the Australian side so far.
Breaks simultaneously for Unexpected and Dummy right before the super long slider. Vivace drops right afterwards, though, an unanswered drop from Vivace this time around. Donut now with the combo advantage for Countryless West. This is about a 250, 270 combo lead for Donut at the moment. Jordan LR7 and Riot still holding the full combos. Identical accuracy on those two as well. So all of the score difference coming. Oh, now from the full combo drop from Riot. That's huge. Australia now with a massive combo lead.
And Jordan is just nailing these space streams right now. Not really much you can do about that. This is the type of performance that we need to see from Australia from now on, and he's finally starting to come alive here in the latter half.
Jordan finally realizes the atrocity he's about to commit and gets some nerves about it near the end there before finishing out the full combo. But damn, it looked really, really solid for him right before that point. Drops on the space streams at the end due to nerves alone, it looked like, with that shake. But really, really solid comeback so far from Australia. 3-5 at the moment. 12 100s on that pick from Dummy. Also very, very solid accuracy overall, 99.25%. And I think the only player on 99. So a very, very good score from him as well. Solid performance all around from Australia on that map. Vivace pulling the weight as well, matching the scores coming out of Countryless West. So solid stuff.
Well, Countryless West. How do I keep tongue twisting that? Countryless West having their final pick now. Do they go for Hidden 3 or Free Mod 3? Or do they just go for DT2? Seems like it's going to be DT2. Guess we're just going with all the speed maps.
That is going to be the final speed map picked up for Countryless West. Not the final tapping map, I might add. There is still Free Mod 2 if you want another tapping pick. But the final speed map, that's for sure, as Free Mod 2 is only 200 BPM. This one, a little bit more than 200 BPM, 219 BPM, and not your typical double time 2 this map. A lot of doubles and quads in this pick, a lot of consecutive bursts with different numbers of notes in them to really focus in on the finger control, mixed in with some longer bursts and short streams in this map. So you have a solid mix of patterns that adds up to a real stamina killer on this pick.
Wow, they started that really fast. Okay. Wolfie going to be the only roster swap on Countryless West. Australia keeping the same roster, which is pretty much what you would expect, I'd say.
I'm a little surprised to not see Donut in on this map for Countryless West instead of Wolfie, but definitely the type of map where you can have some people who are fine on it due to there only being short bursts for most of the map, who can just kind of cheese through or mash through the longer bursts. So, understandable to have small roster swaps like that. Currently an ACK lead for Countryless West as well. Ramon 2 with the 99.2% accuracy on the full combo. Well out-acking anybody on Australia, all around 97, 96% ACK at the moment. Vivace just now cresting 98.
That's a very unlucky miss from Jordan. He's not too happy about that.
Oh.
It's not going to be the end of the world, granted. A third of the map through. Still plenty of opportunity for that break to be answered on the side of Countryless West. That's not going to help things, though. Vivace as well breaking. Suddenly, now it's 1 FC to 3. And it's not being answered at all by Countryless West.
All right, do we see the three-way mid-map wipe like we saw on Nomad 3 from Countryless West? Because if you see that, it's still doable for Australia, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen right now. Ramon 2, Riot, and Wolfie all still holding strong at the moment as another miss comes through from Jordan on the side of Australia. And this now 350,000 score lead is still continuing to climb as you have a collective 1,000 combo advantage on the side of Countryless West right now. Just absolutely crushing it with the three-way full combo.
Well, now we know why they weren't picking this, because they can just three-way this. So, hey, whatever works, you know.
Saving the best for last. Saving an almost surefire pick for your last pick to make sure that you are able to take home the match is a very, very good strategy if you have the breadth of picks available to you. And that is certainly something that the third seed out of qualifiers in Countryless West can take advantage of, especially in these early stages, even against seed number 6 in Australia. Again, a double upset matchup last weekend for both of these teams, dropping 2 of the top 8 down into the losers bracket, right up against each other on the first weekend of losers bracket. And Australia, the number 6 seed out of qualifiers, now eliminated by Countryless West in 13th place after the first weekend of losers bracket. What a ridiculous start to the tournament, actually. Just a crazy, crazy start to 3WC this year.
Yeah, three-way S rank from Countryless West on that pick. 2 FCs. And that's going to do it. Countryless West going to be advancing in the losers bracket. They'll be playing the semifinals map pool. We'll live another weekend. Unfortunately for Australia, this is where we have to say goodbye to them. They'll be dropping out of the tournament.
It's a really sad way for Australia to drop out of this tournament as well. Honestly, a really, really good match from them. You go back to some of those beginning 4 picks, right, where we started off 4-5-0 for Countryless West, and you look at some of the margins of difference in those picks, and you just kind of internally scream a little bit for Australia, right? 140,000 on double time 4 on the first pick for Countryless West, which completely could have gone either way. 1 slider break in the middle for Straub, 2 misses in the middle for Dummy, and you fix one of those scores, and suddenly it's a 200,000 score lead for Australia, just like that. You go back to double time 3, and again, 380k for Countryless West, but 1 miss on both members for Dummy and Jordan on that map. Again, you fix 1 score, and suddenly it's tied up there. Or at least very, very close. Nomad 5 was a win by 61,000 for Countryless West. And then Hidden 2 was a win by 128,000 for Countryless West. Those first 4 maps were all so incredibly close, and it's painful to say goodbye to Australia after a start to the match like that, and after the comeback they showed us with those 3 wins in a row in the back half of this match. But Just unfortunately not enough, despite the expectations surrounding the team and the seeding they had at the qualifiers.
Yeah, that's gonna just about do it for us. Next match is gonna be at 9 UTC later today in about 6 hours. That's going to be, let me pull it up here. I actually completely forgot about it. Japan versus Hong Kong. That is going to be the second winner's bracket match that we have. And we will see you guys then.
Yeah, we've got actually a full block of matches starting at 9 UTC tomorrow. So before we go, real quick, I just want to mention the other ones coming right up afterwards. 9 UTC, like you said, Fiery, is Japan versus Hong Kong. But we have 3 winners bracket matches in a row. The next one, 11:30 UTC, an hour and a half afterwards, or 2.5 hours afterwards, is Germany and Indonesia. And then at 13 UTC right after, Sweden versus South Korea, all in the winners bracket. You don't want to miss those matches, all coming up tomorrow. Later in the day, we'll have the USA versus the United Kingdom in the losers bracket alongside the semifinals map pool showcase. So a full day of the broadcast tomorrow. Join us back here at 9 UTC. Thank you for watching. Congratulations to Countryless West for moving on. We'll see you all back here at 9 UTC.
Sabale, kaya sabale, amala tirahi, cuma